Well, obviously there's some key trials. One being the Sheely case. Um, Basically, it's going to be. I would rely on the work that they have done in that case, and rely on the experience of the other people to look at that case. I feel fully confident that I would be able to get in there and learn those, get familiar enough with the case that I would be a very significant part of that trial, and as I should be as a state's attorney. Um, the other issues of the state's attorney's office, uh, obviously the money issue is probably one of the bigger issues that are coming around. The state of Illinois has pretty much been going downhill as far as their money situation, which actually flows down to the local level, the county, and I see it at the city level as a city council member. And basically that's going to require me to watch every penny and make sure that every penny, that every bit of taxpayer money is used for what is necessary to do the job. I think they're very experienced attorneys, and it's a good thing. And it probably came about just the way things worked. But I would probably, when I'm looking at new hires, look towards bringing in a new attorney. That's how I started. Bringing in a young attorney that you can obviously pay less, presumably. I don't know what each of the attorneys up there are getting paid, but I'm assuming that they're demanding what they're worth, and would look at it that way. There's really the way that it's staffed because of the branch offices and the physical structures of the offices. There's not a whole lot of changes that can be made. You have certain courts that need to have attorneys assigned to them because they have court a lot. You have a juvenile court and a misdemeanor traffic court in Sterling, and those obviously are full-time jobs. You have a misdemeanor traffic court in Morrison, and that's a full-time job. And it should have regular attorneys handling most of those cases. And then you have felonies and with the other courts, and obviously the civil stuff. So as far as changing things around, I don't know. I know that at first I would probably be more looking at doing some of the administrative stuff, but once I got that down, I would be looking to help out and do my share of, and be wanting to do my share of felonies and other, wherever it would be best for me to work. Well, it's not really the state's attorney's job uh, to reduce prison overcrowding. Obviously, that's for the state legislature and the governor. Um, I don't support necessarily, creating specific things for everybody to go through instead of going to prison. I think that once it's decided, once they get to a point and if the system's working correctly, prison obviously should be the last thing that should be done in the minor cases. Everything else should have already been looked at, different probation services and different educational services, whatever. Everything should have been looked at prior to prison. Obviously, in the bigger cases, prison is the only appropriate disposition. But as far as creating new things, I would have to look at things as far as the costs and look at the recidivist rate for those versus what it is now. I mean, sometimes just a fine and a stern warning that next time you're going to go to jail is enough for most people. So I would have to look at each of those programs and decide on a cost basis because they're expensive. They're expensive for the probation office to run. They're expensive for the state's attorney's office, and other offices that are involved. I have a core value, a core belief system that I will not change. Every case that I look at, every decision that I make is going to be based on those core beliefs. I would treat everybody fairly, including defendants, but fairly doesn't mean that they're going to get off. I'm an extremely hard worker. From the moment I get sworn in to the day I leave, I will be working every day for the citizens of Whiteside County to serve them and to do the job that's required. And if that requires me to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, so be it. I will be there. I was in college and had a family and was looking at various career options, and I was interested in politics. At that time, international politics. And I was, hence the political science major. And I started looking at it and realized that with a family and the lifestyle that I wanted to live, I would not be able to do that. And also I was very interested in politicians. I kind of was looking, hey, there's, look at these, a lot of politicians out there, legislature, on up, have law degrees. And I thought, well, maybe that's something that I would be interested in sometime in doing. And so, I kind of started looking at it. And I'm also very interested in business and how business systems work and everything else. And, as I got closer, I was like, wow, that's something that I could see myself doing, is going into law school to work in the business field and advise businesses on how best to, deal with their legal issues. I have a long history of service. I was in the Navy, and then I worked as an assistant state's attorney, and now I am a council member in the city of Morrison. And I enjoy helping people out and doing things that help out the community. I was, there's several jobs, you start looking at. And one of the jobs that I really missed that I regretted leaving was the state's attorney's office. And, and regrets is not really the right word. It's more like looking back on it, well, what would have happened if I would have stayed there, type of a thing. And I actually missed the work that I was doing there versus, a lot of attorneys like to say, you join the dark side or whatever. It wasn't really like that. It was, you're doing the job and the, dealing with the defendants and everything. But I enjoyed helping the people out and the feelings that I got in doing so as a prosecutor. And I would really like to return to that.